Okay, and right now I want to introduce Officer Scott. He is the school resource officer with the Depew School District. Officer Scott, hey, how are you today? And please, if you could, just tell everyone what your role is with the school district.
Yeah, hi, Gwen. I'm assigned to the school district as their school resource officer. I still am employed by the Village of Depew Police, but with this, the great assignment I get, I'm on school grounds for the safety needs and other needs that the school might have with law enforcement or just a police officer being there in general.
Fantastic. And what have you seen, Scott? This has been these past couple of years, 2 year especially, has been just unprecedented, as everyone has said. So, what have you seen as far as drug incidences or anything related to that from last year in comparison to this year?
As far as last year or maybe the year before, the numbers have been increasing as far as vape products, which are drugs in its own form. Um, this year we have like zero incidents, just because a lot of restrictions are in place as far as who is in the halls and who uses the bathroom, how many use the bathroom, um, and just the fact that there's less students each day there. Previous year, granted March, all this COVID stuff hit. But we had a few, like 3 or 4 caught with vaping, and about 14 more that were found in possession of uh, that sort of drug or drugs in general, vaping products in general, that the school had utilized their discipline actions with those students to try to get them, help in realizing the dangers that this vaping can cause to the body and the mind. And I know part of the discipline was to be tested and watch videos and be tested on their knowledge of the negatives of this vaping epidemic that we have going on. But this year it's been, just so restrictive that the numbers just are not there to support what is going on, which is probably, I would guess to say, vaping increase in the home, either secretly without parents knowing, or unfortunately with parents' misguided approval. I'm sure that's way up because of the stress and the amount of pressure that's been added to our students' lives with this COVID that just weren't there before.
With that being said, and with the pressures that these kids are dealing with and the stress, what have you seen the most, or what have you been really actively doing so far this year, and in your role then as an SRO with the schools?
Well, when the students are there, my day is kind of conducted the same way, just with less students, which is, of course, everybody's goal is to have 100% students with zero restrictions, because I miss the laughter in the hallways. I miss the lockers opening and closing the hallways. And it's just been so subdued because students aren't with their friends. Their core group of friends are split up based on the school's, way of separating, which is usually by the alphabet. So groups aren't together like they were last year. And I see too much quiet, too much going through motions in the hallway rather than teenagers and younger being able to be teenagers and young kids. It's horrible for them. I liken that, me being in my 50s, a year's period for me takes so long in my brain. But think about when you're younger, how long it took from one Christmas to another to arrive. It felt like forever. So I liken a kid's year, almost like dog years, to an adolescent or a child. This COVID that's been going on almost a year is, to them, almost feels like 7 years. And that stress has got to be unbelievable for somebody feeling that way about it. Also, if I tell the students when they were in session that teaching class, I says, the fact that when this period ends and you're bored with me talking already, by looking at the clock, well, we're done at 10:35. Well, COVID is like a class that's boring and you don't know when it's going to end. You can look at the clock, but you don't know. You can guess, but you're not sure. And that adds a layer of stress that is tough for a lot of people to handle, and especially younger adolescents and children.
Speaking with the school SRO with Lancaster, they've been, creating like an outreach and doing more face-to-face visits just as a, as a, not, I don't even know, as a courtesy, but just as a, general welfare, like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? If you experience any of that, like within, the school and working with your staff and the guidance counselors and the
Yeah.
social workers.
What'll happen is, the guidance counselors are doing an amazing job, even though they can't do face to face. Our one counselor has a phone, and says, in her office, instead of her, it's a phone. You call and then there's a monitor set up. But sometimes, if I can help provide reassurance as an extension of the counselor, whereas I can be face to face with the person, albeit with the social distancing that is required, even through a window, just saying, hey, how's it going? You had mentioned this to this counselor. Is there something I can do to help? And I think it brings someone from the school to their home, and I hope it provides a sense of security that, yeah, we're thinking about you in meetings like this, and we're thinking about you via emails, but we're also thinking about you in person too. And hopefully that provides a little calmness. Hopefully that takes a little bit of a layer of stress away.
I commend what you're doing. I commend what the school is doing to stay in contact with with their students, and really just acting as that connection point to services. And that's what I think we really just wanted parents to know, that hey, drug use and vaping, especially marijuana vaping, that we know that is potentially on the rise. Like, if it's not happening in school, it's definitely happening somewhere else. And if you've never caught your kid vaping at school, obviously, or maybe your kid is doing things right under your nose and you don't even know it. But the main push for that is typically mental health. It's depression. It's, anxiety, and all these issues, like you say, a class that never ends with these kids. So just for the parents out there, I just want everybody to know that that's what your SROs do. That is how they stay connected to you and really facilitate anything that your kids may need in ways of getting services that you wouldn't normally have it at 50% capacity for, Brylin, or, not being able to get into ECMC when you need the help. There were a lot of attempted suicides out of the Lancaster School Department, schools that Stacy was mentioning. And I've diverted a few of them, even, through people and friends that I've heard so far. So it's real, and we just want everyone to know that you are that person. So any last comments before we go, Officer Scott?
I have not come across anybody with even a hint of this is a great the way it is. It's just not. And we have no problem putting in the effort to try to reach out to the students at home, but we want everybody back, and we want everybody back to the way it was, to what normal is, and hopefully soon we can do that.
Great. All right. Well, Officer Scott, thank you so much for taking your time today, and in your partnership with the Depew Police Department. So have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.